Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Manish and I want to thank you for all the support that you have shown our channel. There was a time when traveling used to be just twice a year thing. But now traveling has become a much more frequent thing as people realize the importance of taking breaks. But at the same time, traveling is also becoming very costlier as the demand rises. Being an avid traveler myself, I also face this difficulty. So in this video, I will share 12 hacks with you which can help you minimize and cut your costs significantly. So if you are someone who travels a lot or wants to travel a lot but are thinking about expenses, do watch this video till the end. There's also a very special surprise at the end of this video. Booking your flights and hotels well in advance can save you a lot of money as most of these hotels and airlines offer discounted prices for their seats to a certain extent till a certain percentage of their tickets are booked. So you need to be the first ones to book them. Also, for each of the destination where you plan to travel, there are some excellent properties available at affordable prices and these often get lapped up very soon. So you would have seen that when you're booking your hotel closer to the dates that you're traveling, you won't even see those properties because people have already lapped them up. Another great way to save money during travel is to travel during the weekdays. Tuesdays to Thursdays are better. Both hotels and flights are cheaper during weekdays. I'll give you an example from my recent trip that I took. I was booking my travel for 2 days. So the hotel was charging me 10k per night for Friday to Sunday. But when I checked it for weekdays, which is Wednesday to Friday, the prices went down to 6k per night. So I instantly booked it. The same can be applied to the non-peak season as well. Please remember, I am saying non-peak season, but not off-season, because off-season you might not even enjoy your trip. If you are going on a long trip and your stay includes both weekends and weekdays, my suggestion is to book it separately, because if you book it as one block, you might be shown the price of the weekend for the entire duration and you might end up paying more. In today's time, most of us can think of only traveling via flights because we believe it saves time. That is true in most of the cases, but not always. I'll give you an example from my recent trip. We traveled to Hampi few months back and our instant reaction was to travel via flights and book our flight tickets. But then I started comparing how much time will it take for me to reach via flight versus via train, just for the heck of it, for the fun of it. By flight, it was taking us around 10 to 11 hours to reach Hampi. 2 to 3 hours from Mumbai to Bangalore and another 7 to 8 hours via road from Bangalore to Hampi. Versus when I checked for the train, it was taking us around 14 hours to reach via train to the nearest railway station, which was Hospet, and then another 1 hour from there via road from Hospet to Hampi. So effectively it was just 4 to 5 hours that it was saving for me. My train tickets were at least 75% less than my flight tickets. So the time saved was not that much. So we ended up traveling by train and it was one of the best decisions that we took. We saved a lot of money. If you can be flexible with your travel rates, you can save a lot of money. If you are planning your trip well in advance, you should check your cost for 3 to 4 different dates. I'll give you an example. Let's say if you're planning to a certain destination for a week, you should make an Excel or write down in your notebook. Let's say you pick one set of dates as 7 to 14. Check out the prices of the flights and the hotels, how much it is costing you for that particular duration. Then again check it for, let's say, some other dates which is 10 to 17 and then another dates for 14 to 21. You'll clearly see which one of these date combination is giving you the same experience but it is coming at a much lesser price. So you can book as per that. You will not compromise on anything, but you will just end up saving a lot of money. If you are traveling solo or even with a group of friends, staying in hostels is a great way to save money. There are hostels available across the world and in most of the tourist destinations that are there across the world. You can check those out on websites like Zostel, Hostelworld, etc. Accommodation in such hostels not only comes at a fraction of a cost versus the hotels, but you end up enjoying a lot more and meeting new people and building connections. Staying in hostels can be a great way to balance out your expenses when you're traveling to a certain destination and you want to stay in some luxury resorts. We always do that when you're traveling, let's say abroad, and for a higher number of days. We did that in our travel trip to Vietnam when we traveled there for 14 days. 9 to 10 days we stayed in normal hotels, including some luxury places where we stayed. And then 3 to 4 days we stayed in hostels. It was a different experience. It didn't let the boredom get in. We ended up not paying a lot more for the entire trip and still had the same amount of fun. When you travel, in many places, you go for certain activities like hikes, excursions. When doing so, always check if there is a way to share the expenses. There are apps like Get Your Guide, Klook, etc. where you can book group tours where the cost gets shared. But it is even possible to share the cost for the activities which need to be booked offline. I'll give you one example. We traveled to Coorg some time back, and there's a place called Mandalpatti Peak where the only way to reach that peak is through the local jeeps. So we called up this guy and asked him to arrange a jeep for us. But we also asked him that if it is possible to share the jeep with a couple of other people who are also, let's say, planning to travel the next day. Called us few hours later and said that he's found some people. And so the next day we went with them. We were very happy. We built new connections with those people. It was lovely traveling with them. And we ended up paying half of what we had to pay. Buying a local SIM in the country that you're visiting is always going to cost you much less versus activating an international roaming plan. In some cases, the cost can even go down to 1/3 of the international roaming package. For example, when we traveled to Singapore, the local SIM cost us just around 800 to 900 rupees for the 5-6 days that we were traveling to, versus the international roaming pack. The minimum pack was 2999 plus taxes for Airtel. Our health insurance plans that we have are often applicable to the country that we are staying in. So when you're traveling abroad, it's always recommended that you buy a travel health insurance plan. Although it might sound like an additional cost, but during a medical emergency in an international country, when the expenses can go up much higher than your entire travel cost as well. So buying a international travel health insurance just costs you simply nothing, but it can save you from this big unexpected expense. When traveling to another country, make a list of all the major airports of that country. Then check the prices of air travel to and from each of these airports. Sometimes the difference can be huge and you can make your travel plans accordingly. I'll give you an example of a friend of mine who was traveling to Vietnam. So he was planning to travel to Ho Chi Minh first, but the cost of the flight ticket was way too much. Instead, he checked another couple of airports and then he observed is that the flight tickets to Da Nang was the cheapest, around 50 to 60% of the flight ticket from Mumbai to Ho Chi Minh. So he flew to Da Nang instead and had his trip at a much lower price. Wherever there is a good network of public transport, always try to use that to commute from one point to other. It always is much more cost effective. Most of the tourist destinations across the globe have a very decent to a very good network of public transport, the metros, the buses, etc. In case not, try if you can explore the city on a two-wheeler, which costs you much lesser, around 20 to 30% of what it costs to travel in a four-wheeler. Food is generally the third biggest expense bucket when traveling after flights and accommodation. So it's always recommended that if you can carry some peanuts, protein bars, etc., whatever you like, because a lot of the time what happens is that when you're traveling, you are tired and then you want to just grab whatever you can see. Oftentimes it's very expensive and you end up spending quite a lot. So if you have something handy like a nuts or a protein bar, etc., you can immediately have it and can save on a lot of money. The same is true for water as well. You should always carry your water bottle whenever you're traveling, because in most of the places you'll find some arrangement where you can refill those bottles. And if you are a tea coffee lover, what I'll recommend is to carry your pre-mixes. It's always going to be much better, save you a lot of cost versus ordering tea coffee from your 5-star resorts, which is damn expensive. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do like this video, share with your friends and subscribe to our channel. If you use any other hacks to save money while traveling, do share in the comment section below. I will select 2 winners with the best hacks and tips. The winners will get Amazon vouchers. See you in the next video.